Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to start part 4 of the chapter The Making of the National Movement 1870s to 1947. This is the fourth part. As you know, in the previous videos we discussed about the development of national movement in India and with the examples of different movements led by Mahatma Gandhi like Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad Satyagrahas and non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement. In this video, we will discuss about the Quit India movement and later. During the Second World War, 1939 to 1945, the incidents took place during this time, during this period, were very important for the development of national movement, right? Like individual satyagraha and Deliverance Day declared by Muslim League, that was also very crucial in the development of the thinking of Muslims to have the separate nation on the basis of religion. And after that, the failure of August Offer 1940, it was failed. August Offer 1940 and Cripps Mission 1942. Both of these two important scenarios were failed. After that, Mahatma Gandhi started Quit India movement during the Second World War. Mahatma Gandhi declared this movement is completely non-violent movement. Clear? And he gave the slogan of do or die. During this movement was started on 8 August 1942 when the proposal of this movement was passed at Bombay meeting by Indian National Congress. On 9 August 1942, all the leaders, main leaders of Congress were arrested by the British. All of the main leaders were arrested by the British police on 9 August 1942. Mahatma Gandhi declared it as non-violent movement and peasants and the youth. Basically, peasants and the youth participated in this movement by leaving their studies, and peasants also following the ideas of Swadeshi and boycott movement, right? So in this way, this movement was very important. While many people did not attend this movement, it means most of the leaders of Muslim League and Mahasabha, they did not support this movement. Who did not support this movement? Leaders of Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha, Communist Party of India, C. Rajgopalachari. He was very important leader, C. Rajgopalachari. C. Rajgopalachari, Chakravarti Rajgopalachari led the Salt Satyagraha in South, right? But this time he did not support this movement, Quit India movement. So Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha, Communist Party and very important leader C. Rajgopalachari, they did not support this movement. In spite of this, the movement spread in most of the parts of India, especially North India, including some parts of West Bengal and western parts of India. This movement is spread in many areas of the country. The people set up their own governments to oppose the British government completely. And the British government adopted the repressive policy against the movementists. By the end of 1943, 90,000 people injured and 1,000 people were killed in the police firing. And in most of the parts of the country, movementists were lathi charged by the police and they wounded in a big number. So this was about the Quit India movement. As you can see here that it was started after the failure of August Offer Cripps Mission, and after that it was started by Mahatma Gandhi, and British police adopted the repressive policy against the movementist. Mahatma Gandhi told British that they should leave and quit India in hands of God. Clear? So this was about quit India. Now we'll discuss about the next topic. So dear students, next topic is towards independence and partition. Independence, you know that we got independence in 1947, and as partitioned, right? Partitioned country. It was divided into two parts, Pakistan and India. How this happened? How did this happen? Because of the policies of Muslim League. Policies of Muslim League. First of all, we have to discuss about the policies of Muslim Leagues. What were the policies of Muslim Leagues during this period? Okay. In 1930, the president of Muslim League, Muhammad Iqbal suggested that northwestern frontier of the country, including the parts of Sindh, Balochistan and Kashmir, should be a separate state, right? Including these parts should be a separate state for Muslims. So this demand was raised by Muslim League in 1937 after the results of provincial elections. Muslims were emerged as minorities in India. It means just they were left by the Indian politics as minority people. So this was the thinking of Muslim League, that Muslims will be identified as only minority people, and they feared, Muslim League, the leaders of Muslim League feared that Muslims would be unrepresented. Understand? They would not get their equal rights in Indian politics. So they also focused on the separate state again in 1937, and after that the leaders of INC refused their proposal of joint government. Muslim League presented an offer in front of Indian National Congress after 1937 provincial elections results that they should make the joint government with the Muslim League and Congress. So it would be likely means Congress League government, but Indian National Congress refused this offer. So this annoyed the leaders of Muslim League, and they again focused on the separate nation on the basis of the two nation theory of Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Two nation theory. What was this theory? This theory was given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, very prominent leader of Muslim League. He gave this theory that there are two main religions in the country, Hindu and Muslim. So two religions are there. So these two religions should be like two nations, two separate nations. So two nations should be there, one for Hindus, one for Muslims. So this was the two nation theory. Although many leaders opposed this theory, even so many Muslim leaders opposed this theory, like Maulana Azad, like Abdul Ghaffar Khan. So these prominent leaders opposed this theory of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, but Muslim League focused on this theory, and Muslim League continuously demanded for Pakistan. After 1940s, this demand became very powerful. If we talk about the assembly election, provincial elections, 1946 results. So after the provincial elections 1946, Indian National Congress did very well and performed very well in the general constituencies. But Muslim League won most of the seats of reserved constituencies. So most of the reserved seats were secured. Those reserved seats were only for Muslims. So these seats were reserved for Muslims, and these seats were secured by Muslim League. So in this way, Indian National Congress could not get the support of Muslim people because most of the Muslim people were demanding for separate nation, that was Pakistan. Getting my point? So in this way we can say that policies of Muslim League and some mistakes done by Indian National Congress, because whenever Congress got the opportunity to be united with Muslims, it did not accept and it left this opportunity, like in 1937. So India led to the partition. So after that, in the failure of cabinet mission, in 1946, right? Cabinet mission consisted of 3 members from the British Parliament. Patrick Lawrence was the head of this mission, and A.V. Alexander and Stafford Cripps. So these 3 members were there. They suggested many reforms, but Muslim League and Congress did not accept that, and partition of India became inevitable and became very compulsory and very necessary. So Mountbatten Plan in 1947 became very important towards the independence and the partition of the country. So we'll discuss later. So after that, Mountbatten Plan was put by Lord Mountbatten, who was the Viceroy, last Viceroy of India, 1947, and after that, Indian Independence Act, that was passed by British Parliament in 1947, that led to partition of India into 2 parts. British India. It was British India and Pakistan. So these 2 new nations were there after the freedom of India. India was under the interim government that was founded in 1946 under the leadership of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and Pakistan was led by the first governor Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah became the first Governor General of independent Pakistan. And here Mountbatten, after Mountbatten, C. Rajgopalachari, Chakravarti Rajgopalachari became the first Indian Governor General of India. So in this way, dear students, we have discussed about the independence and the partition of the country. Although India became free in 1947, but we also experienced the partition of the country. That became very bad for India, because that led to the communal riots between Hindus and Muslims, and due to which thousands of people were killed and lakhs of people became refugees, and they experienced very miserable duration of that period, right? So now we'll discuss about the main leaders of the National Freedom Movement. And this is the image of Subhash Chandra Bose. Now we'll discuss about the topic Bose and the INA, Indian National Army. It is called in Hindi Azad Hind Fauj. Subhash Chandra Bose was a radical nationalist with the socialist leanings. He did not share Gandhiji's ideal of ahimsa. It means Subhash Chandra Bose did not believe in the theory of non-violence or idea of non-violence. Although he respected Mahatma Gandhi as the father of the nation. This title Subhash Chandra Bose gave to Mahatma Gandhi. He called Mahatma Gandhi as father of the nation. In January 1941, Subhash Chandra Bose secretly left his Calcutta home and went to Singapore via Germany and raised the Azad Hind Fauj or the Indian National Army to free India from British control. In 1944, the INA tried to invade India through Imphal and Kohima, but the campaign failed and the INA members were imprisoned and tried People across the country from all walks of life participated in the movement against INA trials. So the British government was under pressure and it was pressurized to think about the trial against the INA members. So this was the contribution of Subhash Chandra Bose. You can see the image of Maulana Azad with other members at the Congress Working Committee, Sevagram 1942. Azad was born in Mecca to a Bengali father and Arab mother. Well versed in many languages, Azad was a scholar of Islam and an exponent of the notion of Wahadat-e-Din, the essential oneness of all religions. It means he believed in the unity of all the religious groups, an active participant in Gandhian movements and a staunch advocate of Hindu-Muslim unity, right? He wanted to unite Hindus and Muslims and he opposed two-nation theory given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. On the basis of this theory, Pakistan was formed later, but Abul Kalam means Maulana Azad was against this theory, two-nation theory. He was a scholar and he was the first education minister of India, and today we celebrate these days National Education Day on the birth anniversary of Maulana Azad. Figure 17. This is C. Rajgopalachari, Chakravarti Rajgopalachari. You can see in this image here. Speaking to Gandhiji before the Gandhi Jinnah talks in 1944, a veteran nationalist and leader of Salt Satyagraha in the South. As we have discussed in this video, that in South, Salt Satyagraha was led by C. Rajgopalachari and he was popularly known as Rajaji, served as member of the interim government of 1946 and he was the first Indian Governor General, first Indian Governor General of Free India. This one, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Figure 18. Played an important role in the negotiations for independence during 1945 to 1947. He hailed from an impoverished peasant proprietor family of Nadiad, Gujarat, a foremost organizer of the freedom movement. From 1918 onwards, Patel served as president of the Congress in 1931. After independence, he played very important role to unite the country and involving all the provincial states, right? After independence, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, next one here. This is the image of Muhammad Ali Jinnah with Mahatma Gandhi, Bombay, September 1944, an ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity until 1920. Later he joined Muslim League and he played an important role in the making of Lucknow Pact in 1916, but he recognized the Muslim League after 1934 and became the major spokesperson for the demand for Pakistan. This is the image of Jawaharlal Nehru with Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji's disciple, a Congress socialist and internationalist, Nehru was leading architect of the national movement and for free India's economy and polity. So Nehru became the head of interim government. Later he became the first Prime Minister of India. For 17 years he served as Prime Minister of India till 1964, his death. Figure 21, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, the Pashtun leader from the northwest frontier province, with his colleagues at a peace march through Bihar, March 1947. He was also known as Badshah Khan. He was the founder of Khudai Khidmatgars, a powerful non-violent movement among the Pathans of his province. Badshah Khan was strongly opposed the partition of India. It means he wanted to unite Hindus and Muslims and he did not favor partition. He criticized his Congress colleagues for agreeing to 1947 division. One more thing we can see. So dear students, you can see this figure. Refugees from right turn Punjab gather in New Delhi in search of shelter and food. This was the picture showing the situation after the partition of the country. Same kinds of things could be seen in Lahore and Islamabad and Karachi, etc. Here, nationalism in Africa, the case of Ghana. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed the rise of nationalism in many Afro-Asian countries. Asian and African countries. In many of these, nationalism arose a part of the anti-colonial struggles for independence. Colonial rule in Africa was dictatorial, only the chiefs were allowed to rule on behalf of the foreign powers. Alternately, laws affecting Africans were created in all white legislatures. But Africans did not have power, they had no decision making powers or representation, not until after the Second World War at least. The forcible takeover of land from local owners or users, increased taxation, and poor working conditions led to many African protests. So, in this way, one example is here of Ghana, 1957. It was earlier known as Gold Coast. So, this is the old name of Ghana, Gold Coast. It became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence. The freedom movement was led by Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah, Convention People's Party. This was the party of Kwame Nkrumah. And in 1951, this party won a huge electoral victory. It opposed the existing system in which the British rulers had allowed the chiefs to nominate representatives to the legislature. It pressed the British to grant legislature that contained no nominated or special members and won this demand in 1954. Finally, it became free in 1957. So, the Convention People's Party won this, thus paving the way for the proclamation of an independent nation under the name Ghana. So, this is the new name of Gold Coast. So, this was about Ghana's freedom struggle. So, dear students, in this way we have completed all the concepts of this chapter, all the topics of this chapter. I hope that you understood about all the topics. If you have any doubt, you can watch this video again and you can read from the textbook. Thank you. Have a nice day.